Poland ain't I'm keeping it real.
I can't believe this guy is like openly saying this on the internet. This is crazy to me. So I was browsing through my YouTube and I came across this video, The Truth About Poland. So it's a Black American passport bro talking about his experience here in Poland. He says some things that I agree with, but he said a lot of crazy things that were actually like super disrespectful, almost insulting Poland. So I wanted to go through some of the video, share my thoughts, and hear what you guys have to say about this as well. You know, it's always really weird to me when I see guys make videos like this, taking pictures of the girl, taking videos of her, which seems to be without her permission. A lot of these videos seem to show the women off almost like conquest, and then you're gonna see how he talks about like the Polish women in general is like super, super disgusting. Is it just me that thinks this is weird? What do you guys think?
What's up, guys? I'm gonna talk about my trip in Poland, and I'm gonna tell you about my experiences as a black man. Let's talk about the city, right? Poland in itself, in the wintertime, is a very gloomy, dark, cold city. People are kind of negative. The girls are, some of them are hot, but you're not seeing something like drop dead hot, gorgeous women where you're like, oh my God, where the average woman is like a 10 or something, like, or 9 or 8 or some shit like that.
It's funny, he's saying all these things. It reminds me of the videos that I made when I first came to Poland. He came literally during the worst time. And I remember when I first got here, I came during the winter as well. And I thought the same thing. I thought the people were super rude and negative. And I heard a lot about like Polish girls being super beautiful, but I didn't see a lot of it when I first arrived. It wasn't until summer came around where you really get to experience all of the beauty of Poland. So I think what he's saying is fair, actually.
It's just like regular looking women, and there's some hot girls, and it's cool. And if you're a black American man and you have a little bit of bread, it's gonna be easier for you to get an 8 or 9 because you're like scarce. There are less black men in that country that have money and are American, and obviously you're a good opportunity. They go after you. Western values have unfortunately got over to Poland.
First off, he says if you're a black American with some money, you'll get the 8s and the 9s. From my experience, the Polish girls don't really care about money that much. It's more important that you treat them well, that you're emotionally stable, because a lot of them came from 2-parent households, right? And I'm sure for him, as a foreigner, it's difficult to distinguish between the Polish girls and the Ukrainian girls and the Belarusian girls, who are all very different, even though from the outside, they all look the same. In regards to Western values coming into Poland, yes, that is also true, actually. And I see this most prevalent with girls around 24, 25 and below. But it also depends where they come from. If they're from the smaller towns in general, they are a lot more conservative. But Warsaw is just a bubble. Warsaw, just like any big city in the world, is gonna be a lot more liberal. And as a country learns more English, American values are gonna slowly creep into the population. I have noticed this too, so I actually think he's right.
Western values unfortunately got over to Poland. Poland ain't shit. I'm keeping it real. I would not go to Poland. Fuck no. Fuck no. Because you're basically getting the same bullshit that you get in America, well, similar, and you're getting less value for it. The girl I was with, she was nice and cool and chill, but you still have to like some sort of game and riz. It's not like when you just show up. Say you go to one country, like you go to South America, or you go to Asia, Philippines, you just show up. You just be present, you smile, you have fun. You're not worrying about, is this girl like me, da-da-da, I'm gonna get laid, da-da-da. I was worried about having fun and just talking to the girl, because you already know at the end of the night, she coming back to the crib and gonna measure how deep her throat is. I'm gonna keep it a buck. In South America, you're gonna do the same thing. You be like, you just chilling, have fun, and then you know at the end of the night, you're gonna be measuring how deep their throat is.
Oh, dude, what? This is so corny, bro. Like, this is such goofball behavior. I don't know what he means by you're gonna get less value here in Poland. This is the kind of guy that thinks just because he has an American passport and he makes more money, which I don't even think he's rich, because if you're really wealthy, you're not talking this way. But he thinks just because he earns an American income, he's entitled to get a woman of a certain quality. That won't fly in Poland, because Polish girls don't really care about that. In fact, the Polish passport is actually stronger than the American passport. So it makes sense that this guy didn't have a lot of success here. It bugs me because he talks about South America and Asia, like the girls that he would be getting don't want him just because of his money or his citizenship. And it's so wild to me that a lot of American men will complain about how Western women only want money, or a guy who's 6 feet, or are like superficial and delusional. but then they only use their passport and money to get girls in these less developed countries. Even though I'm a passport bro in the traditional sense of the term, I hate associating myself with it. When I move to a different country, yes, women is a part of the reason why I moved, but I moved for a better quality of life. I try to integrate into the culture. Now I'm gonna be learning Polish. Guys like this, they're only really interested in short-term hookups. They portray it as like they're dating these girls, but in a lot of South American countries and Asian countries, many of these relationships are pay for play. And guys like this, the way that he talks about like measuring how deep her throat is, I think is really disgusting, and it's just goofball behavior.
A girl asked me how tall I was. I'm 5'10", by the way. People in Europe are tall, but like, girls don't even ask me that in America. And like, I don't know what happened. They're like in Europe where they're getting super delusional. It's because like they just live off of the government now. I'm keeping it in a buck. Average minimum wage in Poland is like $200 to $1,000 a month.
Okay, so I think this is where he kind of starts going off the deep end. I think a lot of what he's saying is like super arrogant. And this is why a lot of people hate Americans abroad, because a lot of Americans have this entitled mentality that because we're American and because we have money, that we're better than other people. The only reason why he can claim all of these things is because he was born in America, right? If he was born in Africa or the Caribbean, like a lot of my friends who really had to get it out of the mud, he would not have this super entitled attitude. And I think that's super off-putting. And also the minimum wage in Poland is around $1,000 a month. But with that $1,000 a month, your quality of life is good, to be honest, compared to how it is in the US. So I don't really know what he's talking about when he's saying this. And every time passport bros will say, they ask me how tall I am. I don't know why these women are so delusional. I don't really know what he means by that. I'm like 172, so I'm like 5'7.5". I've never had an experience where the girl has cared about my height. I've even talked to girls that are taller than me and they don't really have an issue dating shorter guys. And this is actually something I've noticed in Europe in general. They don't care about height as much as they do in the US.
Doctors make like 70, 80K there a year. So it's not like they're like doing amazing. So I don't know what's going on. The girls are acting fucking delusional and crazy. And like me and my friend, we went there. We got over 100 matches each of us. He had like 7 prospected dates. I had like 4. My girls were hotter. His girls ranged from like 6s, 7.5s, maybe 1.8 in there. Depends on how you will judge her. It just wasn't it. And like the town itself, the food's bad. It's gloomy. People are negative. People are upset that a whole bunch of Ukrainians are there. They hate Russia. It's just a lot of like negativity there.
He's not totally wrong, okay? So when I first heard this, I thought he was kind of being a jerk, but to be honest, there is a lot of negativity here, but I think it's because of the season. Poland is a country where it's a lot more rewarding the more you invest into it. So the more you understand the history, the more you build friendships with Polish people, the more you learn the language. That's why a lot of these guys who only come here for short term and try to talk about, ooh, Poland's like this, Poland's like that, a lot of it's really wrong, because all the good girls that he's saying, like the traditional values and all this BS he's talking about, these good girls will not give guys like this any time of day. From my experience, as soon as the girls hear that you're only here for like a couple weeks to a month, you're not gonna get any serious girl who really wants a relationship. He's talking about like a specific demographic of girl that is on dating apps and trying to date foreigners for a short term, but I don't think that's representative of Poland as a whole.
They really like complaining and being negative.
That's true.
It's not me.
That's true.
So when you go there having fun, me and my friend was in the mall laughing our asses off. And then people were looking at us like we were crazy, that we were laughing and having fun, because a lot of people were just like down and depressed there.
This is where I think he's wrong. I think the reason why people were staring at him, it was because him and his friend were probably making a lot of noise in a ruckus in public. And yes, that will draw a lot of attention. Polish people tend to value order and, you know, respecting people's space in public, but also just not creating a ruckus. That's an issue that Polish people have with a lot of Ukrainians as well. So I don't think it's because the Polish people are depressed. I think it was just, he was extremely loud.
So like, they can't even see shit, bro. Because they're acting like they're American. They dress like they're American. They want to talk like they're American. But you can't have Western values without Western money, baby. You can't have Western values without Western money, baby.
This is some of the goofiest shit that I've ever heard. This is why I think a lot of passport bros, they have this weird delusion, you know, because for the longest time, I agree that Western women were like, men ain't shit, all men are trash. There was legit reason to complain about them, but now the men are equally as delusional. What he said right here, you can't have Western values without Western money. What does he even mean? This entitled mentality is crazy to me. This, I think, is one of the most disrespectful things that he says. All these passport bros like to talk about finding a traditional woman, but then they go to countries looking to sleep with these women as soon as possible, and when they don't put out or they act more conservative, then they have a problem with it. And that to me is like the weird cognitive dissonance that they're dealing with. It's like, yeah, I want a traditional girl, traditional values, and they'll talk about the girls in Asia or Latin America, but they know nothing about these cultures. There are conservative women there, but these women will want you to woo them, spend a little more time in them, emotionally invest in them, right? Which I think is all fair. Goofy shit, bro.
So I would say Poland is a no, because you're basically going there and like shit like this will happen.
They fuck. They have one. So they left here.
People don't have a great image on Americans. Classism, it exists there. Since it's so little of the upper class, then it's like everybody's kind of like the same, because it's not that much of a wealth disparity between people. It's like most people are like right here, and then like there's like a little bit of people there.
I don't think there's a lot of classism in Poland, from what I can tell. And it is true that the wealth disparity is not that big, which I think is an overall good thing, at least for what I value. When societies are like that, people value different things in partners and people. It's more about like character, not necessarily about job title or how much money you make. So I don't think he's totally wrong in that, actually.
Let's keep it in a buck.
Bro, if I took a shot for every time he said, I'm just keeping it a buck, I'd be dead.
I would say Poland is a no, because there are girls that are harder in Europe where you don't have to do as much effort, as much work as you would do with a Polish girl. I was talking to this girl, she literally makes $200 a month, and she was trying to make me like put in effort to talk to her. And I was looking at her, I was like, she didn't even look that good, but I went out for you guys because I wanted to get content.
This guy's such a freaking clown, man. It's crazy. One, the fact that he's using how much the money the girl makes against her, I think is really, really weird. And this is why I say he's not making money like that, because all the guys that I know that are actually making money like this have no problem dating a girl who doesn't really make any money or is a university student, because it doesn't matter, right? What matters is that she's a good person, she makes me happy, she's emotionally stable, and if we have a good time together, this money stuff doesn't make it, I don't really care about it. He's really arrogant and he brags about how, oh, you can't act this way if you don't make that money. But that has nothing to do with the character of a person.
I also think it's weird that he's saying, oh, you can't talk to me because you make this amount of money. But then he talks about Southeast Asia or Latin America, and the incomes there are just as low.
This guy done seen Homegirl, which is Homegirl, you see in the video, is super nice, super chill, definitely wifey material, tight body, tight everything. Just super sweet, very kind and gentle. I'm not saying all Polish girls are bad. I am not going to go to a different country and deal with the same bullshit as I do deal with in America. I already figured.
So this is just his experience, and because of the energy he's putting out, he's attracting certain kind of girls. I will tell you from first-hand experience, yes, there are Western values here, but girls here are not the same as girls from America. It really depends on what you put out. Like, hookup culture does exist here, but it's very, very small minority. For the most part, Polish people in general are looking for a relationship, both the men and the women. So that's why when he says stuff like this, I'm just like, nah, this guy doesn't even know what he's talking about.
Now I want to go up and show up and say, hello, my name is Rich. How you doing? And it's just easy, and the girls are chasing me and want to get me.
But they only want him for his passport and this money thing that he brings to the table. Because I can just tell you, like, watching this video, she's pretending, right? Because people who have money and who are really about that life don't move this way. It's just this insecurity of trying to flex for YouTube and for other people that is so off-putting. And this is why the whole passport bro movement, I try to stay away from it as much as possible, because you have a lot of goofy people like this.
I am not trying to go to a country and chase these hoes, especially broke hoes that make $200 to $500 a month. What the f I look like? Why should they chase you? Because I can change that life. I can change that life. I'm keeping it above.
Dude, it's just insecure behavior all day long. The last girl I dated, well, she was in college, so she wasn't making a ton of money, so I paid for most of the things. It didn't matter because I enjoyed spending time with her. She came from a great family. I met her dad, all these good things. And that's how I know these guys are not serious, because the way that they talk about women, it's only about body. It's only about how they look and getting hotter girls over the next one. It's all just like BS talk for the boys. And this is how I know that Poland is still good because guys like this have a bad experience dating here. I have black friends from Africa or Jamaica and they do super well here because they're more wholesome. They're looking for relationships. And this guy is just saying Poland is bad because he doesn't bring a lot to the table and he's projecting that onto Poland as a country, which I think is wild.
One of my friends did measure this girl's throat on a first date, but she wasn't that high quality, bro. She was 26, single mom, cocaine addict, and ex-stripper.
Of course.
And speaking on girls who like to get paid for their time, the girls over there wanted $210 for their time, for their box, an hour.
And this is what I mean, right? So he's talking about dating, but a lot of it's pay for play. Now, I don't know if the girl he went out with was pay for play. Maybe it was just a girl that he found on Tinder. But he was talking about cocaine, single mom, all that stuff. Of course, these are the desperate girls that are looking for foreigners to bail them out. Most Polish girls are not like that. There are not a lot of single moms here compared to other countries like Latin America, for example. I'm glad that he's making content like this because it will deter a lot of sex tourists like him from coming to Poland. And that's how I think like Poland, their traditional values are still quite good, but it's changing. You know, being a foreigner 10 years ago definitely had a lot more appeal than now. I see like in the next 3 to 5 years, Poland is just gonna be like any other Western country. What do you guys think of this video? What do you guys think of this guy? I highly recommend you guys watch this video next. What else should I react to? Let me know down below. Peace.